Good morning. Really good morning. And welcome to Fantasy Sports Today here on SportsGrid. It is 7 a.m. on the East Coast, 4 a.m. Pacific. Did you wake up to watch us today? I hope you did. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Craig Mish along with George Kurtz. We'll make it worth your while for at least 30, 40 minutes. The rest of it, we'll just talk fantasy football. George, we've had two games played now in the National Football League at the start of the season. I know there's one very big storyline that we're going to get to, and it's a big injury potentially. And again, as we're discussing this, we don't know exactly the extent of it, and we'll get to that. But George, the NFL opening up with the highest watched game ever on Thursday night, streaming a game on a Friday night, and everybody got their money's worth. Two very good games, right down to the wire, more or less. And I would say two second halves that would rival the first two games of any football games I've watched to start a season ever.
Yeah, you can make an argument, right, that the ending of the game Thursday night between Kansas City and Baltimore, we won't see a better ending all year in any game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if Isaiah Likely was, if he was a size 10, hey, it's a touchdown. We're playing for a 2-point conversion, see what happens here, whether or not they win or lose the game. Last night, to be honest, the game Friday night, it wasn't a crisp football game. All right, it was entertaining, it was fun, but it was not crisp. All right, a lot of teams made a lot of mistakes here. Hurts and Love made some interesting decisions here. Then, of course, we have the injury at the end of the game that we're going to talk about here. But it was entertaining. It was fun. Fantasy-wise, it was chock full of goodness, right? There were points all over the place last night's game. So it's a great way to start the season. It does get you revved up for it, and we'll see what Sunday can bring.
Yeah, and it's one of those games where I think everybody out there is that if you didn't draft Jordan Reed, you were looking at your team and you were saying to yourself, okay, as long as I didn't play against Jordan Reed, or Jaden Reed. Is it Jaden Reed? Jaden Reed. We're in a really good spot. So that was kind of the thing for me. And of course, I did play against Jaden Reed in one of my leagues last night. So that's, we're on Friday night. So that's the way that it goes. He had a huge, huge game, by the way, 138 yards, ran one in, caught one in, a lot of receptions, everything else. But that is not the big story percolating from Friday night's game in Brazil. The big story was very late in the game. The quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love, went down late with a leg or knee injury of some kind. And I'm sure before we get to game day Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, we'll know a little bit more about this. But for the time being, George, this is a massive fantasy injury for a number of reasons. The first, of course, is because Love was a borderline QB1 going into the fantasy football season. And the other part of this is that guys like Reed and guys like Jacobs and guys like Watson are really going to be affected if he's missing any extended period of time.
Well, if he's missing any extended period of time, I'm not so sure you're starting any of them. I mean, I don't know if you're starting any of them, Craig. You're probably going to go with Jacobs, of course. Running back with the pulse, you don't have a choice here. But it's Malik Willis. It's not like we're talking, you have a Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb. We're talking a whole bunch of receiver twos here at best. And even that might be being kind, maybe more receiver threes. So you're dropping them down at least one rank, which puts them in the flex category. You're probably going to be able to do better on your bench right now before the buys hit here. So we'll see. I mean, the injury happened about midnight Eastern last night. It's a 10-hour flight. So if they got on the flight, by 3 a.m., you're talking they won't get to Green Bay till early afternoon today. All right, then we'll see what's going to happen here. They'll give them MRIs, X-rays, and all that. Maybe we find out late afternoon tonight, tomorrow. That's assuming Green Bay is going to be all that up front with us. All right, so we think it's if you want, there are videos out there you can actually see his knee pop. And he could have a knee injury and an ankle injury, by the way. It could be a high ankle and also a knee problem. So we'll see. It's all speculation right now, but it doesn't look good.
No, and it would be an extended absence. There's no good news from this, certainly for the Packers, for fantasy, for anyone. No one wants to see injuries. If there is anything to take away that is a positive, if you are playing fantasy and you do have Jordan Love in your fantasy league, the thing is you can find a replacement on the waiver wire. In a 12-team league, most teams have two quarterbacks. There's still 6 or 7 sitting out there, not to mention Pittsburgh's situation, very murky going into Sunday as well. So there's a lot of opportunity there. Meanwhile, the Bengals will take on the New England Patriots on Sunday. Jamar Chase said that he's not looking to get one penny more than Justin Jefferson. He's looking to kill him or something like that. What did he say? That was a weird comment that he made late in the week. Freiermuth gets an extension. Herbert's 100%. We got news also, George. Was it out of nowhere that T. Higgins was doubtful going into the game on Sunday? I host a show every day. I feel like I should know this stuff. When did this creep in?
On Wednesday, he had the hammy. On Thursday, he said it felt better. And then Friday, it went straight downhill. I'm guessing he hurt himself somewhere in practice Friday. That's what happened there. And this is a problem. I think the injury is legit. I do. But we're talking another guy. Didn't get the contract he wanted. Right? It's on the franchise tag. I don't think he's going to play Sunday. Is he going to be any rush to come back anyway until that injury is 100%? Maybe not. Maybe not. So, like I said, I'm not playing. Even if they tell me right now, we find out today, he's going to play tomorrow. I'm not playing him. I've been down this road with T. Higgins before, where he's hurt, you start him, and he does nothing because he's a decoy and he's just not there. So it's unfortunate, but once again, it's week 1. No buys. You should have a decent replacement on your roster. It shouldn't kill you.
Yeah. No, and look, I think that's the thing is that at this point, and in a lot of your leagues, if you are playing and you're not active right now, you're making the wrong decisions. Like any league that you're playing in that Justin Fields was not drafted, it's probably time to pick him up and just hold on and see what happens. And the same thing for the Bengals backup wide receivers. If you follow the reports, Bengals offensive coordinator says Zach Moss is going to be in line for a huge game on Sunday with a couple of the receivers potentially out. So we'll follow as we go. Meanwhile, Justin Herbert looks like he's full go, George, for that game against the Raiders. I mean, I guess I just didn't anticipate us being 48 hours into the season and doing injuries at the top of a fantasy show like we are. I mean, I felt like we needed 1 week to do that.
It's disappointing somewhat, right? The love injury. Listen, games get played. People are going to get hurt. It's unfortunate. It is what it is. I got to tell you, while you were talking, Craig, about Jordan Love, I mean, oh God, I got him in a league. And I had to go check to see if I drafted a backup. I did. I have 2 were on that team, so I'll be all right. But it sort of is what it is. All right. The injuries during practice where our season starts, those are frustrating. T. Higgins, I have in 3 of my leagues. That's frustrating. But once again, like I said, each one of those leagues, I have a decent replacement. I'll be okay. I'm more worried about when T. Higgins comes back. What's going to happen there? Like I said, am I going to start him? Am I going to have to sit him? Do I have to wait a week to see what he does to make sure he's okay? That kind of thing. So, listen. You're right. It's even before week 1 we're talking about it. Wait till next week, right? Wait till 3 weeks in when we get a whole laundry list. This whole show could be about injuries here. Then it gets even more frustrating when we're scouring the waiver wire for your wide receiver 9.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack with all of this stuff. The best advice that I could give to anyone regarding some of these injuries is, like George said, whether it is Higgins or the uncertainty with Chase, because that's going to be a primary talking point on Sunday morning late. Is what you can do for those of you playing in the flex spot, assuming you don't have both Higgins and Chase, you could put both right now. You should, if you're watching the show, open up your phone, put them in the flex spot. And then this way, I know it feels weird to have especially Chase there, but 12:50 Eastern time, whatever, 12:30, 11:30, whenever they name the inactives, just go ahead and take them out if they're not in there. It's the easiest thing to do. And I think people forget about that. And they just let Sunday morning go by, and then they, waste their time, look at the lineups, and then all of a sudden you have a guy sitting there in your starting wide receiver that you have to replace, and you can't do anything with it. It can only be a receiver. So at least this gives you the option of a tight end or a running back or maybe even a pickup just before 1 p.m. Eastern. All right, coming up next here on Fantasy Sports Today, it's time for us to dive into a couple of recaps. First, we'll take care of a very exciting opening night in the National Football League. It was the most watched game opening night in the history of the National Football League. So I will add this. My producer, Frank, who produces my show every single day on Newswire, bet me that Monday Night Football would be more watched than Thursday Night Football. You lost that bet, Frank. Can't wait to see you on Monday. We'll be right back.
What a chance it is for Adam Paxton and Victor Tingsham to pick up their first weekly titles. Adam Paxton, well, it's been the dream debut so far for him. For Victor Tingsham, he'll feel like this is a moment a little while coming. A place in the final up for grabs for one.
You can do it. Make that double 18 away for a place in the final.
Wesley Plaisir was beaten, knocked out by Mike Warburton in a last leg decider.
Play. That is what they are playing for. They are playing for the trophy. They are playing for the big prize pot, and they are playing for a place in the £25,000 Champions Week.
97.
There is a point you feel that reality will surely kick in for Adam Paxton. He's here on debut. He watches the Super Series almost every single week. He was happy just to be playing in a group. This could be the leg that we talk about at the end of the night as being the one that changed the final, because Adam Paxton has just gone cold at the moment.
Bang on cue.
He doesn't just get two, he gets the lot.
Adam should take out the 16 out. If not, Mike's just behind him.
Shot on the fifth leg.
Can Paxton deliver in the biggest moments of his career so far? He can. Double 12. What a moment that is from Adam Paxton. Mike Warburton was looking at 60 to win the match.
14.
Paxton, here's your moment. He approaches the hockey with confidence, with time, and delivers. Adam Paxton on debut. The boy, the fanboy, comes to the Super Series and wins.
Welcome back to Fantasy Sports today here on SportsGrid. 7:14 a.m. here on the East. 4:14 Pacific time for those of you who are doing what? I have no idea. Why are you up this late? Go to bed if you're young. You got to get a good night's sleep. Thursday night, the game went right down to both nights went right down to the very end. This one in particular, though, was an insane ending. As George mentioned, Isaiah Likely's toe cost the Ravens at least a shot to go for two or go to overtime, but going through it, you pretty much got from your main guys, I think, somewhat good fantasy. I guess, Kelsey didn't have the biggest game that he possibly could have had. Andrews didn't either. We'll get to the negative after the positive. Let's start with the positive here. I'll go to both quarterbacks, George. You tell me what you think. First of all, Patrick Mahomes, 291, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I suppose you probably wanted more here. I think that's fair to say, but it wasn't like a disaster opening night for him. That would be like no touchdowns and 270 yards. So this was one of those like under projections, but okay. Lamar Jackson, who looked so shaky in the first half, but crushed his rushing. I think his rushing prop at over 100 yards was like 30-1 or something insane. He rushed for 122 yards and a touchdown, 273. And George, that's the reason why Jackson gets drafted ahead of Patrick Mahomes, is that you're drafting Lamar Jackson for these rushing yards. I don't know if one game is any indication at all, but if it is, this is going to be another incredible fantasy season. It to me, it is amazing how low this guy goes in fantasy drafts every year. I think people just forget that he could just win your weekly league at any time, and he was the big winner, I think, coming out of that Thursday night game.
Fantasy-wise, certainly. Right, he had a big game here. He used his legs tremendously. Right, we're not going to see 122 all that often. All right, his over/under as far as coming into the day was 46.5, 47.5. I know I was on the over, so he crushed that very nicely here. But it wasn't like we saw this kind of game coming here. He's going to have to do this because, let's face it. Listen, I like Zay Flowers, I do, but he's not a number one NFL wide receiver. He's a wide receiver too. So he doesn't. It'd be nice if Baltimore got him that guy. It really would. All right. Listen, Lamar Jackson, he was behind Allen, probably behind Hurts in most leagues. He was a number 3 quarterback taken. He was ahead of Mahomes, and I think that's correct where he should be. There'll be games, like I said, if he doesn't rush for 122, but does rush for 50. Well, he lost 7 points and had a good quarterback day, but not the great quarterback day. We're sort of getting on Mahomes here. He was 20 of 28 for 291. Yes, only one touchdown. But, Samaje Perine might have dropped that touchdown. Wasn't an easy catch, but one that probably should have been caught. And Smith-Schuster certainly dropped the ball. It should have been
He
caught
dropped
in the
one.
end zone.
Yeah.
Same drive,
Yeah,
back-to-back passes. All right, so they catch that. All of a sudden, he's over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. I understand we can play this game with every quarterback, probably every Sunday. They would have caught this if this would have happened. But I'm not all that worried about Mahomes. I'm not. He'll be fine. He looked good. Hey, he had a reception, Craig. All right. By the way, that catch was actually a big-time catch. I'm surprised he didn't just knock it down, which is what he should have done here. But he even added you with a reception. Look at that. PPR +1.
Yeah. No, look, reality, yes, he was fine. Fantasy, that's not what you expected. Week 1, probably 5-6 points off from that. Now, did anyone play Isaiah Likely in this game? I'm not sure. But, man, did he look
3%.
good. I'm feeling like a bad Mark Andrews owner right now. I mean, what's going on here? 12 targets, 9 receptions, 111 yards, and a touchdown. I don't think any tight end's going to top that this week, George.
I doubt it. Now, if you looked at the game film, Andrews was double covered a lot. All right, that was their game plan. You see what they let's take Andrews out, make someone else step up. Hey, Likely did. And that's good. Listen, I know and I'm an Andrews guy, right? I think I only have in one league, but
I know you're a big
angry.
Andrews guy.
Yeah, I was angry. I said, I think I was on with Gabe at camp complaining. Is Andrews alive? Can they find this guy? Please give me a point. But I'm going to look at it like this. Well, now that Likely stepped up, had the big game, we're not likely, see what I did there, to see double coverage anymore in Andrews. All right, so let's see what next week brings. Let's see what next week brings before we start panicking here about the Andrews and the fact that he didn't give any points. That being said, if you looked at that, Likely looked fast. Andrews looked slow. All right, it's something to keep an eye on here. But let's see what the coverage goes next week before, like I say, before we all panic and go, oh my God, we took Andrews as our 3rd overall tight end, and now we're in all this trouble here, which is what he was after Laporta, after Kelsey.
No, I mean, you're crushing my dreams 1 week into the season. Come on, George. All right, Xavier Worthy looked every bit as fast as he was supposed to be on that. I don't know. You picked the touchdown. I think one of the touchdowns more impressive than the other. We got 2 receptions, 47 yards. So I guess here's the question. We heard going into the last week of not training camp, preseason, that Reed was Reed lying, George? Was he your famous lie there that he just basically didn't trust Worthy? Because I mean, he didn't get a ton of targets in the game, but even if he's a bit player in the Chiefs' offense, I mean, the guy is bound. I mean, I think he's. You know what? I think it's fair to say, George. Worthy, at the very least, is what they were hoping Kadarius Toney would be. I mean, he delivered in the first game of the season.
I think you're fair on all points there. All right, Worthy only had 3 targets. 3. All right, then he had the rushes, of course. So he made the most of them. That's not going to happen every week. We're going to need more volume here. I said he made the most of them. That's great. The end around was fantastic. I mean, he's another guy, and he's even. He's leaving. All right, you're not sticking with him there. I think they'll get him more involved. Once again, there'll be some deep shots to him. They're going to want to keep teams honest anyway. But we want to see that target. I mean, I was going to say double. You probably want more than double. You want to see 7-8 targets a game to this guy. 3's not going to do it because teams are going to realize, oh, my God, and they'll game plan for him a little bit more, and he won't get those big plays here. But still, hey, 2 touchdowns will take that run. It's a good start.
Yeah, it definitely is. By the way, top PPR point scorers from the Thursday night games, Likely 26.1, Jackson 25.1, Worthy 20.8, Rice 17.3, Patrick Mahomes 16.1. George, who was the most popular Worthy in professional sports before Xavier Worthy? Who would it be? The most popular name.
All time? Well,
yes.
It's time to be Showtime. James Worthy with the Lakers.
There you go.
Right.
Wow, an NBA answer. I was like, wow, George.
Thank you.
That is incredible. You got it, man. Good job. James Worthy.
I was a fan of the Lakers back then, actually.
You watched the NBA?
Back in the early 80s, yeah. Come on, Lakers, Celtics, everybody watched back then. Even I couldn't avoid it.
Wow, this is breaking news here. It must be early for George to be coming up with this stuff.
What a chance it is for Adam Paxton and Victor Tingsham to pick up their first weekly titles. Adam Paxton, well, it's been the dream debut so far for him. For Victor Tingsham, he'll feel like this is a moment a little while coming. A place in the final up for grabs for one.
You can do it. Make that double 18 away for a place in the final.
Wesley Plaisir was beaten, knocked out by Mike Warburton in a last leg decider.
Play. That is what they are playing for. They are playing for the trophy. They are playing for the big prize pot, and they are playing for a place in the £25,000 Champions Week.
97.
There is a point you feel that reality will surely kick in for Adam Paxton, who's here on debut. He watches the Super Series almost every single week. He was happy just to be playing in a group. This could be the leg that we talk about at the end of the night as being the one that changed the final, because Adam Paxton has just gone cold at the moment.
Bang on cue.
He doesn't just get two, he gets the lot.
Adam should take out the 16 out. If not, Mike's just behind him.
Shot on the fifth leg.
Can Paxton deliver one of the biggest moments of his career so far? He can. Double 12. What a moment that is from Adam Paxton. Mike Warburton was looking at 60 to win the match.
14.
Paxton, here's your moment. He approaches the hockey with confidence, with time, and delivers. Adam Paxton on debut. The boy, the fanboy, comes to the Super Series and wins.
Welcome back to Fantasy Sports today here on SportsGrid. Great to be with you as we now recap the Friday night game in Brazil, a really entertaining game right down to the finish. If you missed earlier in the show and you're streaming us late, you may have missed us going into this in detail. And if so, you're in luck because we're going to do it again. 34-29 the final Friday night. Key injury in the game to, of course, Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers, who had a nice game. He threw for 260 yards. It was a little erratic, I think that's fair to say. But, I mean, the story with him coming out of this is the injury, definitely. And let's go to Jalen Hurts real quick, and then we'll go back to Love. But Hurts also made some mistakes, fumbles, 2 interceptions. If you're losing points in leagues where he throws interceptions, some leagues are -2 for that. I mean, honestly, he did not have a good game. If that's the case, only 33 rushing yards, 278 yards. But what are you doing? Jalen Hurts is, certainly one of the top, if not the top quarterback drafted in fantasy football. So you just have to chalk this up, hopefully, to one game. The turf looked really bad in Brazil, too. So maybe that had something to do with all of this stuff. I don't know if that had to do with the Love injury. I'm sure we'll hear more about that. So, going back to that, Jordan Love, somebody watching the show, 12-team league, 14-team league, they're like, what do I do? My recommendation is sort of what we talked about at the beginning of the show. If you have the other Packers, you're panicking, and we'll get to that. You can't get around that. But if you are just looking right now to say, hey, look, I want to go to the waiver wire right now and pick up somebody for Jordan Love, look, I don't think the answer is Darnold, and I don't think the answer is Minshew or Levis. But what I would do, George, if he's still available in your league, is I would be preemptive and pick up Fields and stash him and see what happens on Sunday, because I think that you almost have no choice, because you're going to find somebody to play, George, at quarterback. Stafford, I don't know, someone. You'll find someone, but not to the caliber of Love. I think Fields gives you just such upside that you could rebound pretty quickly if he is able to play. By the way, no guarantee Fields even plays well, by the way, but that would be my pivot.
I think they are. Now, I'm on board with that, but the problem is if you're grabbing Fields, you still have to grab somebody else. Now, we don't even know if Fields for sure is going to play them Sunday, right? I think he is, but we're not positive about that. We'll see. That'll be another game time decision here. But if he doesn't play well, or maybe Tomlin goes back to Russell Wilson no matter what. Now, I think Fields should be starting, period. All right, I think it's where Pittsburgh should have gone. I think we know what Wilson can do at this point in his career. It should be Justin Fields. So, yes, I agree with you. I'd want to make him, but you probably still have to go out and get another quarterback, What if you grab Justin Fields and you find he's not playing next week? Well, now you still need somebody else. How many dead spots on your roster do you have? Now, you're not releasing Love, right? You're still keeping him on your roster. You got to eat it for a month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it might be. I guess if it's 8 weeks, maybe you do move on here, especially if you don't have any IR slots here. But you'll still need another quarterback, and that's my issue. How many dead spots on your roster where you don't mind releasing somebody do you have here? So you're going to go Fields, and you're going to go Fields and Donald. We can talk about what quarterbacks are left in your league here. It depends. Years ago, no one grabbed more than one quarterback. So you were good. You'd be, okay, you're in a 12-team league, you get quarterback number 14. You were fine. We don't have that anymore. A lot of leagues that people do draft backups. And maybe you did. Maybe you're not worried about it. So the one league I have, Love, I have 2 or I'm okay. But if you didn't, it's panic time. I think the most important thing is grab a quarterback now. I would hope you would have grabbed it immediately after the game, before all the vultures get in and try and screw you over now, and they're grabbing quarterbacks. That's the way the game's played, right? If I'm playing Craig Mish next week, and Craig has Jordan Love, I guarantee you, I'm on the waiver wire right now. Oh, he ain't getting this guy. Nope, not this guy.
Great point.
And you played that game to screw Craig over.
It's a great point. Saquon Barkley, a huge debut for Philadelphia, 23 receiving yards. That was the only disappointment. 109 rushing yards. Incredible game. I would say that when you look at everything that he did, he completely lived up to the billing.
He didn't get that last touchdown. All right, they stopped him at the 6-yard line there. Boy, was I hoping they'd go for it. I have Barkley in several leagues. I wanted him to go for it. That scene in Airplane, Craig, where the lady's acting hysterical, and there's a big line of people lining up with pipes, bats, guns, knives to stop her. That's what everybody is in the National Football League at the Giants right now for not re-signing Barkley and letting him get to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, good point. Jaden Reed, who I called Jordan a couple times at the top of the show. Wasn't there a Jordan Reed tight end for Washington?
Tight end Washington, yeah.
4 receptions, 138 yards. Great game for him as well. But again, we got to pause all the love on all these guys, George, with Love being hurt.
You might have paused it anyway because Dobbs, Wicks, whatever, it was a big donut last night. Watson had the touchdown, not much else. Could be a different guy every week, even with Love in the lineup.
All right, well, coming up next, one of the quarterbacks we just discussed, Justin Fields. Will he play this week or not? We don't know, but we'll get into what the Steelers quarterback situation looks like next.
What a chance it is for Adam Paxton and Victor Tingsham to pick up their first weekly titles. Adam Paxton, well, it's been the dream debut so far for him. For Victor Tingsham, he'll feel like this is a moment, a little while coming. A place in the final up for grabs for one.
You can do it. Make that double 18 away for a place in the final.
Wesley Plaisir was beaten, knocked out by Mike Warburton in a last leg decider.
Play. That is what they are playing for. They are playing for the trophy. They are playing for the big prize pot, and they are playing for a place in the £25,000 Champions Week.
97.
There is a point you feel that reality will surely kick in for Adam Paxton, who's here on debut. He watches the Super Series almost every single week. He was happy just to be playing in a group. This could be the leg that we talk about at the end of the night as being the one that changed the final, because Adam Paxton has just gone cold at the moment.
Bang on, Kerry.
He doesn't just get 2, he gets the lot.
Adam should take out the 16 out. If not, Mike's just behind him.
He shot on the 5th leg.
Can Paxton deliver one of the biggest moments of his career so far? He can. Double 12. What a moment that is from Adam Paxton. Mike Warburton was looking at 60 to win the match.
14.
Paxton, here's your moment. He approaches the hockey with confidence, with time, and delivers. Adam Paxton on debut. The boy, the fanboy, comes to the Super Series and wins.
Thanks for waking up with us here on Fantasy Sports Today, wherever you're watching across the globe. The Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Atlanta Falcons Sunday early, 1 p.m. Eastern. And it has been an injury-plagued beginning of career for Russell Wilson, to say the least. He missed some preseason time, Justin, or so we thought. All of a sudden, the injury report showed up earlier in the week, George, and Wilson was declared questionable for the game with a hamstring issue. I don't know that Fields necessarily outplayed Wilson. Fields was like okay in the preseason also. Here's the flip side to this. First of all, I think Russell Wilson's finished. He's looked finished for a while now, and I know Pittsburgh did this just to secure something. I think Pittsburgh is probably back in the draft trying for a quarterback after this year. But for me, I guess my concern is, are they going to let Fields sort of do what he did in Chicago, which was at some point, if you remember, they didn't let him freelance for a while. They didn't want him. And then he talked about, hey, they're not letting me do what I came here to do. And then all of a sudden he did, and he was great. But I don't know that that's ever going to be the Steelers' offense. I think, again, he's a good pivot for Love if you have him and he's hurt, or in a super flex league or a 2-quarterback league. I would do that. But beyond that, that's as far as I would go with it.
I think that's all fair. All fair here. I might have a little bit more love for Russell Wilson than you do. He was okay last year. Wasn't good, but he was okay. And he moves on here. Now, I fully believe Fields at this point. I think Pittsburgh should have anointed him to start. I think they should have built the offense around him. I think it's always the big problem. The offense is not built around Fields. It's built around Russell Wilson, what he can do. So it's just not fair to him. He needs to freelance, right? He needs to be moving around the pocket. He needs to rush the football. And you need to get your team aligned with that. Like I said, Russell Wilson's not bringing you anywhere. At this point in his career, we know what Russell Wilson is. And it's not getting better, right? It's getting worse. There's not a lot of weapons here. It's George Pickens and prayers. Right? There's a reason they wanted Brandon Ayuk, right? We know that. The running game is okay, maybe a tick better than okay, but it's far from anything special. All right. So I know Pat Fryer signed the big contract. Good for him. He's not special. All right. So there's a lot of worry here. I wish they would have gone to Fields from day one. I did never like that Mike Tomlin anointed Russell Wilson the starter. Why? This is not the Russell Wilson that won Super Bowls, and he didn't win them for you, where you feel like you owe it to him. All right, I might feel differently if that was the case. He's first year with your team here.
Yeah.
I said the best thing I can say is I agree with you. The quarterback for next year's Pittsburgh Steelers is not currently on this roster.
I don't think so, man. I don't think so. They tried. Look, they tried. They drafted Kenny Pickett. He was in a poor quarterback class, but they drafted Kenny Pickett. And, it just doesn't seem to have worked for them, just basically with whoever they played at quarterback. It's hard replacing a Hall of Famer like Ben Roethlisberger. So in general, the way that the Steelers' depth chart sort of lies here is Najee Harris is probably in line for the biggest workload of anyone, and maybe even Warren is playable this week, especially if Fields plays. Freiermuth, Pickens, Roman Wilson. I'm a big Pickens fan. I think Pickens is good. But I don't know. Like, I would love to see Pittsburgh enter that game with Atlanta, George, and shock us if it is Fields, and say, let's let Fields just run. Let's let him run around. Let's do something we've never done before. But I don't know. It's just that they've never done it before. So I am probably out on a lot of Steelers going into game one. It's more of a wait and see. We'll get to Atlanta. It's going to be I feel much different about Atlanta, because I think you got to play a lot of these guys. But for Pittsburgh, I think this week is a watching week for me.
I'm in 9 fantasy leagues. I don't think I have any Steeler. I think I stayed away from this team. I wanted nothing to do with the quarterbacks. Nothing to do with the running backs. It's not that Najee Harris and Warren are bad. I just think they're going to split the time there, and you're not going to know who to start week in and week out. And as you said, I love George Pickens. So you put Pickens with a normal team with a good quarterback, we're talking about him being a wide receiver 1, or maybe a top end wide receiver 2 at the worst here. But he's not. He's with the Steelers, doesn't have anybody. He's going to see nothing but cornerback ones, double coverage, bracket coverage being slanted towards him, because every defensive coordinator is going to say, let's stop him. You stop him, we stop the passing game, and we'll get the run after that. All right, and Pat Fryer is not a tight end 1. All right, so this offense is I think if you call it a work in progress, is being kind. All right, there's just not much here. Like I said, I'll say it again. There's a reason they wanted Brandon Ayuk so much. Because they needed that kind of receiver. A second number one receiver, yeah, that would transform this offense. But they didn't get him. Like I said, I think it's going to be tough times. Steelers to win games. I mean, betting-wise, it's going to be a lot of unders. It's the only way they win. If the game gets to over, they're not winning it. They're not winning 31-28 shootouts. They need to win 21-17, 20. That defense has to play so well, so much pressure, can't make any mistakes.
Yeah, and I would tell you, too, that one of my favorite plays, I think, of the week is the under in this game. I don't care who plays at quarterback. I think it's like 41.5 or 42.
It's low.
But it doesn't even matter, though. Like, I think that it's going under. I just don't see a lot of points scored in the game. And that's what really concerns me about the Falcons, is the Falcons have this very optimal, high-flying potential offense now, and I think they may have it over the course of the season. I don't think it's going to happen in this game. I don't think so. I'm sitting Cousins. I got to play Bijan Robinson. I'm sitting Pitts. Drake London is this big breakout candidate, and that's going to come, I think, in week 2. But the Steelers' defense, to me, George, is still top 3 in the NFL. So I don't know. I kind of see this game like 20-10 or something like that. 17-13, low scoring.
I'll agree and disagree. I do agree that it's going to be around that score. I think that's about right. So I think it's going to go under as well. 41.5, by the way. Craig was right. That is the under. I don't think the Steelers' defense is top 3 in the league. I don't. Listen, you got Watt. And after that, it's solid after that. And Watt goes a long way, Lord knows. He's getting into that quarterback here. I think we're going to see a lot of Steelers games, this sort of game script here. I think teams know, listen, don't make mistakes. Don't turn the ball over. We win the game. So you get a lot of boring football because you're not going to want to step back and throw the ball 45 times, take a chance on turnovers. And the one knock on Fields, by the way, that we didn't say, at least I didn't say, he does turn the ball over. He takes sacks, right? He does fumble the football with the interceptions. And the Steelers can't have a quarterback who does that because they want to play 21-7. They want to play, okay, we're going to be close going to the fourth quarter, and let's see if the other team can make mistakes, and we won't, and we'll win that way. And Fields probably isn't the best quarterback right now in his career for that kind of football.
Yeah, it just seems to me that this game has dud written all over it. But again, the other thing I would wonder, George, too, what would be the amount of total points scored? I know this is like I'd have to look this up on ChatGPT or something like that. When 2 quarterbacks make their debut for a new team, what the final score usually is of that game. It doesn't happen that often when you think about it in the NFL, but you have a new quarterback in Atlanta, a new quarterback in Pittsburgh. Both quarterbacks in Pittsburgh came from somewhere else. The quarterback from Atlanta came from somewhere else. I think this is going to be one of the duds of the week. At least that's the way I look at it. All right, coming up next, we're going to dive into the running back situations across the NFL. We got some important news in Cleveland. We know Nick Chubb is going to be out for a period of time. But as we move forward, how do we dive in, George? I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, same here. There's a lot of situations we're looking forward to, right? So we'll see. Running game is not what it used to be, right? No one cares anymore. It's all about the passing game, putting up points there. Running game, you just want to get the 2nd and 6. That's what it is. All right, just get the 2nd and 6 here and make it easier on the quarterback.
Yep. All right, so let's do this. Let's take a quick timeout. We'll dive into running backs. Week 1 of the NFL season is already here. Who's in, who's out? We'll discuss it next here on FST. Don't go away.
What a chance it is for Adam Paxton and Victor Tingsham to pick up their first weekly titles. Adam Paxton, well, it's been the dream debut so far for him. For Victor Tingsham, he'll feel like this is a moment a little while coming. A place in the final up for grabs for one.
What you can do, make that double 18 away for a place in the final.
Wesley Plaisir was beaten, knocked out by Mike Warburton in a last leg decider.
Play. That is what they are playing for. They are playing for the trophy. They are playing for the big prize pot, and they are playing for a place in the £25,000 Champions Week.
97.
There is a point you feel that reality will surely kick in for Adam Paxton. He's here on debut. He watches the Super Series almost every single week. He was happy just to be playing in a group. This could be the leg that we talk about at the end of the night as being the one that changed the final, because Adam Paxton has just gone cold at the moment.
Bang on cue.
He doesn't just get two, he gets the lot.
Adam should take out the 16 out. If not, Mike's just behind him.
Shot of the fifth leg.
Can Paxton deliver in the biggest moments of his career so far? He can. Double 12. What a moment that is from Adam Paxton. Mike Warburton was looking at 60 to win the match. Paxton, here's your moment. He approaches the hockey with confidence, with time, and delivers. Adam Paxton on debut. The boy, the fanboy, comes to the Super Series and wins.
Welcome back. Some controversial backfields in the NFL. Got to decide who's going to be the guy or the guys this season. We're going to run through those now here on the show. Maybe it'll help you make a decision going into Sunday. Let's start off with Georgia's Dallas Cowboys. Ezekiel Elliott is back for another ride, so to speak. Rico Dowdle is also back for another ride, by the way. He's been on the Cowboys now for a couple of years. They also signed Dalvin Cook. I believe he is not active, George. Is that correct? He's not activated yet? I don't know. Maybe he is. But either way, Ezekiel Elliott, you're hoping the Cowboys get near the goal line. He can score a touchdown. He was largely effective, surprisingly, on a really bad New England team last year. You could even make the case maybe even more effective than he was with Dallas 2 years ago. So, I guess it's fair to say maybe he has one good season in him, but the touchdown capital is going to be huge for him this season. Without that, I don't know that it's going to be a successful year.
I can just parrot everything you said because everything you said is correct. Right. To be effective, he's going to need touchdowns. All right. And he might get them. Not tomorrow. I'll have more to say about that in the next segment. But there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen here. Boy, I just thought about that on the spot, right? Dalvin Cook, as of right now, is on the practice squad. I do think eventually he gets on this team because they're going to see what he can do. Because Elliott's not going to get it done. Daddle's no real threat here. Cook will get his chances. I don't know about tomorrow. Like I said, they haven't activated him as of yet. We'll see what happens. I think they have to make up their mind, Craig, by 4 o'clock today. Take somebody off. 4 o'clock Eastern. I believe that's the rule. So we'll see here. But bottom line is this. I've got Zeke in a couple of leagues. He's a reserve. I'm not starting. If you're starting Zeke, you probably have some issues at running back, boys and girls, here. Unless you're in a 16, 18, 20-team league, then, hey, we got to do what we got to do here. But he's a reserve. I'm hoping – perfect world, bye week filler, injury guy. That's what I want. I don't want to have to start a week in, a week out.
Yeah, I agree. A non-starter for me. Najee Harris becomes a valuable player, I think, for Sunday's game against Atlanta with all the quarterback stuff going on with Pittsburgh. But I guess the question is, are both running backs playable? Jaylen Warren last season, George, was very playable at times for the Steelers. Not a terrible flex option, I guess. Maybe if you're sitting there with Higgins waiting for game day or something like that, maybe that would be a good guy to slide in.
I mean, the problem is if I'm Tomlin, now, once again, he does things differently than I am, and of course, he's a better coach than I am. I think these guys are very similar. You already said it. Warren had a 5.3, yards per carry last year. Now, Harris only 4.1. All right. Warren at times was the better back last year. And if I'm Tomlin, it's this simple. I don't have an offense that I can say, okay, you got the ball, throw, 25 times a game, whatever it might be. Who's ever playing well, who's ever doing the most damage is getting the carries. That's the way I'm playing it. I don't think I owe either one of these guys. Neither one of these guys is Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton. There's no one anywhere near like this on this team. So that's my issue. It's why I stayed away here. I think Harris is the de facto number one right now, but if he's not getting the job done and Warren is, I think that switch can be made real quick here. So I stayed away here. Don't want either one. But yes, coming into tomorrow, I think you said it perfectly. Harris is your running back 2. Warren's a flex.
Now, Nick Chubb is going to be out for a month. Jerome Ford is going to carry the load like he did last season for Cleveland. This time around, though, it's pretty dicey, honestly, beyond Ford until Chubb gets back. But Ford is a rock solid, what would you say, George, RB2 going into the week? I think that he's starting for you against Dallas, against everybody until Chubb comes back. And then we'll sort of see how things shake out. In the leagues that I'm in, Chubb was drafted, by the way, relatively higher than I thought, even with missing potentially 4 games to start the season.
Let you know how desperate we are for running backs, right? Because you're not only drafting him higher than you probably should, but you're praying that when he comes back, he's good, right? He's actually the Chubb of old, which is asking a lot from a major, major injury here. We'll see. I hope he does. I'm a Nick Chubb fan. Hope he is back and is the guy here, but I have my doubts here. As for Ford, I mean, I don't know if I call him rock solid, but he is what he is, right? Starting running back, he's going to go in there. I certainly don't love the matchup tomorrow. And boy, if Deshaun Watson's not Deshaun Watson, boy, he had some nerve this week saying he's still a top tier quarterback in the NFL. Sure, you are, buddy. Just been 3 years. Sure. There's a reason no one wants you in fantasy. But we'll see. But there's not a lot to like right now of this Cleveland offense. All right, we don't know what Watson's going to bring in. No top running back. No, thank you. I want to stay away if I can.
Yeah, I mean, that's another player to watch is Deshaun Watson to see how he does this week. Very much a boom or bust candidate in fantasy this season. All right, now let's get to the Los Angeles Chargers. This used to be plug and play, right? Very easy to just put Austin Eckler. First round pick, George, 2 years ago in fantasy football. Austin Eckler, first round pick, and then now not even being drafted till late in a lot of drafts. Gus the Bus goes from the Ravens to the Chargers. J.K. Dobbins, once upon a time, was like, sleeper of the year in fantasy, like first round pick in fantasy. But both have had injury issues. Edwards has been healthier than Dobbins at time. This is like the one running back situation I hate in fantasy football this season. I don't have either of these guys anywhere.
I don't think I might have Dobbins in one league. Maybe. I don't think I do it. Maybe. I agree with you. It's another situation. Once again, the hot hand's likely going to play. Good luck guessing who it's going to be. Game in and game out. Dobbins is actually pretty damn good. The problem is the one ability he doesn't have, availability. He gets hurt a lot. That's always been his issue, right? Can't stay healthy. Listen, not every human body is built to play football. And he just hasn't been able to do it here. So like I said, I do like him, and that's probably why I do have him somewhere. But, maybe he plays tomorrow, doesn't play next week, or gets hurt during the game. He's that guy who frustrates the hell out of you. But you just don't know what you're going to get from him. And also, not much of a passing offense to worry here, right? I don't know what McConkey's going to do for you, Josh Palmer or whatever. Teams are going to be loading up to stop. I can't believe against Herbert. They're going to be loading up to stop the run. And we know the kind of game Harbaugh wants to play. This is the Steelers all over again, by the way. They want to play close, 21-17 games, let the other team make a mistake in the fourth quarter, and we'll get the W.
Yeah, and finally, the Washington Commanders. Speaking of Eckler, he's on the Commanders. And, honestly, I have no idea what to expect out of Eckler. It looked like, to me, George, his career hit that wall last year. But look, maybe that's it. Maybe it just was a bad year for him. I don't know, but it didn't look right. Brian Robinson is the touchdown guy, regardless of that. So I'm probably off Eckler completely. Didn't even buy low on him at all. But I think Washington will be more capable, so I do like Robinson a little bit near the goal line.
Agree with everything you said. I like Robinson as well. I think Washington will be more capable. My only worry will be this, is Daniels going to steal a lot of touchdowns from Robinson?
True.
I think Eckler's done, by the way. I think Eckler, as you said, hit the wall, got old fast, whatever little cliche you want to use there.
Yeah. All right, so let's do this. We'll take a quick timeout. George has bold predictions up next. Don't go away.
What a chance it is for Adam Paxton and Victor Tingsham to pick up their first weekly titles. Adam Paxton, well, it's been the dream debut so far for him. For Victor Tingsham, he'll feel like this is a moment a little while coming. A place in the final up for grabs for one.
You can do it. Make that double 18 away for a place in the final.
Wesley Plaisir was beaten, knocked out by Mike Warburton in a last leg decider.
Play. That is what they are for. They are playing for the trophy. They are playing for the big prize pot, and they are playing for a place in the £25,000 Champions Week.
97.
There is a point you feel that reality will surely kick in for Adam Paxton. He's here on debut. He watches the Super Series almost every single week. He was happy just to be playing in a group. This could be the leg that we talk about at the end of the night as being the one that changed the final, because Adam Paxton has just gone cold at the moment.
Bang on cue.
He doesn't just get two, he gets the lot.
Adam should take out the 16 out. If not, Mike's just behind him.
Shot on the fifth leg.
Can Paxton deliver in the biggest moments of his career so far? He can. Double 12. What a moment that is from Adam Paxton. Mike Warburton was looking at 60 to win the match.
14.
Paxton, here's your moment. He approaches the hockey with confidence, with time, and delivers. Adam Paxton on debut. The boy, the fanboy, comes to the Super Series and wins.
Welcome back to Fantasy Sports Today as we wrap up hour number 1 of the show. Plenty to come here in hour 2, so stick along right with us. It's time now for some bold predictions for week 1. Here's George.
All right. I think my first bold predictions might be, can we get as many good games on Sunday as we got Thursday and Friday? All right, those are great games here, and I want to see that going. We're going to go right to the I sort of teased it last segment, right? The Dallas Cowboys and Cleveland Browns here. They play 4:30 on Sunday. Boy, Ezekiel Elliott, Rico Dowdle. You want to put Deuce Vaughn in this category as well here. Maybe they activate Dalvin Cook. I don't think the Cowboys are going to have much success rushing the ball on Sunday at all. I'm going to go with under 50 yards rushing for the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of pressure on Dak Prescott to move this football with CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson here. Like I said, Cleveland's a good defense, by the way. They might be the number 1 defense in the NFL. And remember, the Cowboys are starting 2 rookie offensive linemen. Rookie left tackle, rookie center here. Not going to be all Zach Martin and go here. So I think the Cowboys are going to have a lot of trouble moving the football on the ground here. I'm not looking to start any of these guys. You're starting, like I said, you're starting Zeke in week 1. Means you probably don't have much at the running back position here to worry about here. Number 2, Marvin Harrison and the Arizona Cardinals here. I think Harrison's going to have a big game. I think he is that rookie wide receiver who is going to hit the ground running. There's not much else there for Arizona, right? I like Michael Wilson. I do. A flex play? Maybe on Sunday. I do think that Sunday is a shootout between the Cardinals and Bills. All right, I think they're going to get their over total here. I think Kyler Murray, whenever he's healthy for a full season, always finishes the season as a top 10 fantasy quarterback. So keep that in mind here, and he's going to be looking Harrison's way an awful lot. Harrison has to have a big game, really almost each and every week here for the Cardinals to move the football. Him and Trey McBride there. New York Giants. Listen, I am not a Daniel Jones guy. All right, I'm not even close to a Daniel Jones guy. That being said, they've got a nice opening matchup against the Minnesota Vikings. It's at home. You drafted Malik, won't you be my neighbors, right? So I think neighbors is going to be great. I do worry if Daniel Jones will have enough time back there because he needs time. If he has time, he'll find the receivers, right? The Giants receivers are fast. It means there should be deep plays to be made there. Granted, no one's worried about the running game there. Safety's going to be playing too high, branch all game long to take away the deep pass here. But I think Daniel Jones has a big game here. Listen, I sort of think Sam Darnold has a big game, too. Another game that could develop into a shootout here. Not going to be too many great games for Daniel Jones up and down this season, but I do think this will be one of them. Daniel Jones on Sunday will finish, after Monday's game, will finish as a top 10 fantasy quarterback this week. Not for the season, just this week. I also like, we're going to be a little quarterback theme here. Geno Smith, 2 years ago, he was a fantasy darling, right? He was fantastic. A guy, I don't want to say he's a league winner, but he did more damage than we expected from the Seattle Seahawks. He's got good wide receivers, right? You got DK Metcalf. You got Tyler Lockett, who's questionable coming into the game, but I do expect to play. And you got Jackson Smith, Najiba. Really good. Kenneth Walker is a good running back. He may not be, not elite, but he's a good running back. He'll keep defenses honest here. I think Geno Smith, has become my favorite survivor play over this week because I'm not taking Cincinnati anymore, and I don't know if I trust New Orleans enough. But I think Seattle will beat up on Denver here, and Bo Nixon, the rookie, and I think Geno Smith will be a big reason why. Over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns for Geno Smith on Sunday against Denver, as Seattle at home has no problem with the Broncos here. My last one, I think I'm looking forward to another great primetime game. All right, looking forward to the Rams and Lions on Sunday night here. We had a great Thursday night game, great Friday night game. I love Detroit. I love Jared Goff this season, period. Jared Goff, I think, plays 15 of his 17 games in a dome, right, on turf. Speed, fast, put the ball in the air. Amon-Ra St. Brown should have a big season. I like Jameson Williams a whole bunch. I think to be that surprise player this year, finally realizing the potential he had coming out of Alabama before he tore the ACL. Love Laporta. The run game is really good here. I think Jared Goff's going to have a field day. Rams are beat up on defense as well. So I think there's plenty of opportunity here for the Lions, not only to, once again, especially if Jordan Love is out for any amount of time, to take a hold of this NFC North. They should have gone to the Super Bowl last year. They should have beaten San Fran in that game. If not for Josh Reynolds, who's no longer with the team, dropped a couple of passes here. So listen, like the Lions, like Goff, I think he's going to light it up against the Rams. So like I said, they're injured in the secondary here. So I think they're going to have problems on Sunday here. So give me Jared Goff, once again, over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and a whole lot of that going Amon St. Brown and Sam Laporta here. So like I said, big games this Sunday. We're going to have a lot of fun here. We're going to be putting up some points here. This is Fantasy Sports Today. We are coming back with you. Craig and I are going to discuss really everything across the fantasy world here, right? Everything you possibly want to go on here. We're going to have buy or sell in the next segment here, on the next hour, I should say here. Greg Mish, George Kurtz, we're back with you after this.
What a chance it is for Adam Paxton and Victor Tingsham to pick up their first weekly titles. Adam Paxton, well, it's been the dream debut so far for him. For Victor Tingsham, he'll feel like this is a moment, a little while coming. A place in the final up for grabs for one.
You can do it. Make that double 18 away for a place in the final.
Wesley Plaisir was beaten, knocked out by Mike Warburton in a last leg decider.
Play. That is what they are playing for. They are playing for the trophy. They are playing for the big prize pot, and they are playing for a place in the £25,000 Champions Week.
97.
There is a point you feel that reality will surely kick in for Adam Paxton, who's here on debut. He watches the Super Series almost every single week. He was happy just to be playing in a group. This could be the leg that we talk about at the end of the night as being the one that changed the final, because Adam Paxton has just gone cold at the moment.
Bang on, Kerry.
He doesn't just get 2, he gets the lot.
Adam should take it the 16 out. If not, Mike's just behind him.
Shot on the 5th leg.
Can Paxton deliver one of the biggest moments of his career so far? He can. Double 12. What a moment that is from Adam Paxton. Mike Warburton was looking at 60 to win the match.
14.
Paxton, here's your moment. He approaches the jockey with confidence, with time, and delivers. Adam Paxton on debut. The boy, the fanboy, comes to the Super Series and wins.
Welcome back to Fantasy Sports Today here on SportsGrid. I'm Craig Mish along with George Kurtz with you here on the show as we dive into the wide receivers, some props here on the show.